spend $6 trillion in the Middle East, and we have potholes all over our highways and our roads. I have a friend who's in the trucking business. He said, my trucks are destroyed going from New York to Los Angeles. They're destroyed. He said, I'm not going to get the good trucks anymore. He always prided himself on buying the best equipment. He said the roads are so bad that by the time we make the journey from New York to Los Angeles or back, he said the equipment is just beat to hell. I said, when has it been like that before? He said it's never. He's been in the business for 40 years. He said it's never been like that. 40 years, never been like that. So we're going to take care of that. Infrastructure, we're going to start spending on infrastructure big. And not like we have a choice. It's not like, oh, gee, let's hold it off. Our highways, our bridges are unsafe. Our tunnels, I mean, we have tunnels in New York where the tiles are on the ceiling and you see many tiles missing. And you wonder, you know, you're driving 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour through a tunnel. You take a look at the Lincoln Tunnel and the Queens Midtown Tunnel, and you're driving and you see all this loose material that's heavy. You know, it was made many years ago, so it's heavy. Today it's light. Used to be better. The problem is you got to hold it up. And I say to myself, every time I drive through, I say, man, I wonder how many people are hurt or injured when they're driving at 40, 50 miles an hour through a tunnel and a tile falls off. And there's so many missing tiles and such loose concrete. So we have to fix our infrastructure. It's not like we have a choice. We have no choice. And we're going to do it. And it also happens to mean jobs, which is a good thing.
Now, we're going to show you what are generally called infrastructure stocks. Vulcan Materials, Fluor Corporation, that kind of thing. These are infrastructure stocks. All of them have been up since the election 3 weeks ago because President Trump clearly wants to spend big on fixing bridges, tunnels, roads, airports, etc., etc., etc. There's more infrastructure stocks. All of them up since the election. Our next guest says we can afford all of these improvements and that they will give the economy a whopping great boost. Here's the headline of his article that he just wrote. Trump's infrastructure program, it could deliver a powerful punch and be affordable too. Peter Marisi is the man who wrote that article, economics professor. Now, clearly, it's going to juice the economy. That is stimulus. But what's this about it's affordable? We can pay for it. How's that going to work?
Well, some of it can be paid for with user fees, but not as much as proponents of that would say. But what about all that offshore profits that we have? If we gave corporations a cut rate, say half off on their offshore profits of $2.5 trillion, we would get $350 billion right there, and Trump wants to spend $500 billion. That, along with a small increase in the gas tax, we can get this done. The real problem is the Obama administration was so inept they couldn't manage it. They had a $320 billion infrastructure in their stimulus, and they only spent $50 billion on roads, bridges, transit, and so forth. The rest went for green projects, health research, and God knows what.
Pull it all together, Peter. We're going to spend big on infrastructure, spend big on the military. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to put a whole bunch of money in through that tax cut. Have you ever seen a stimulus program like as big as this one before?
Well, I think what we have in the Reagan days, when you look at the size of that tax cut, and that's likely in the range that we're going to get, we're not going to get the kind of deficit-busting tax cut that was was the campaign proposal. But we'll get something like the House bill, and that's in that line. And Reagan accomplished 4.5% growth. The Democrats can't quit. David Ledenhart today in the New York Times said, the economy does better with Democrats and high taxes than Republicans with low taxes. Well, golly, now that the Obama administration is wrapping up 2.1% growth for his recovery. At the same time, at the same point in the Reagan recovery, we had 4.5. This stuff works. It works big time. But you got to get the money out. You got to get the money spent. You got to go around the bureaucracy. And you really can't reform the bureaucrats, but you have to go around them.
I need your comment on this. We had Steve Moore on the program yesterday, Trump economic advisor. Here's what he said in response to that report, that 8 million people will have their taxes raised under President-elect's tax plan. Roll that tape and then you can comment, Peter.
We have made a priority that if you're paying taxes You can take this to the bank. If you have a tax burden, under Donald Trump's plan, your tax is going to go down. It's not going to go up. So if there are people who will fall through the cracks, we're going to fix that.
You think they're going to fix it, Peter?
Yes, I do, except for maybe folks that are really abusing the system, you know, say the carried interest problem. You know, Donald Trump talked about doing away with that. I mean, if you are, you know, making $20 million a year and most of it's in stock options, you're going to get a tax increase. But ordinary working Americans, middle-class people, the folks that Hillary Clinton wouldn't even deign to go out and meet in Wisconsin will be getting tax cuts.
All right, Peter Marisi, keep that bow tie nicely done there, son, because you're going to need peace of mind when you go back to your university today, and that's a fact. All right, Peter, thank you very much indeed, sir.